Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, That's Right, a Homeschool. My name is Mrs. T. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into our homeschool curriculum picks for kindergarten social studies. Now, I did do a whole curriculum review or curriculum picks video back in May, so it has been a hot second. I will link that down in the description below, but there have been some notable changes between the original picks and this one, and I'm going to go over those reasons and the changes in this video. Now, before we dive into the curriculum, let's talk about social studies. I wanted to define social studies as primarily history, geography, and social justice. And for geography, I really wanted there to be an emphasis on both map work and an emphasis on the people and the cultures around the world. And for the history component, I wanted it to be very light, more like an exposure with a couple of historical figures highlighted. And then from a social justice perspective, I really wanted to work on exposing my child to some of the tougher topics and the things that people experience or have experienced. So, all that said and done, let's go ahead and talk about what our curriculum picks are. So our primary curriculum piece, the thing that we are targeting to do most days this school year, is going to be Build Your Libraries Level 0 around the world. And I did talk about this curriculum pick in my language arts selection video as well, which I will link down below. But Build Your Library Level 0 really has a focus on geography, but less on like the map work side of things. There is definitely some map work in there, but it's really focusing on exposure to the culture, the people, the animals, just the whole shebang that when it comes to different locations around the world. And so I am really excited to use this program. It is a literature-based program, so to support this like geography portion of it, we're looking at about 31 books, picture books that we will be pulling in throughout the school year. So this program is a 30-week, 5 days a week program. But honestly, you guys, we're going to take the whole 36 weeks of the school year to use this program. We're going to target most days, like finishing everything. But I wanted to have that wiggle room of 6 weeks to accept the fact that we're not going to have perfect schedules, and it's okay that this 30-week program takes a whole year. And that's kind of how I'm approaching it this year, is we are going to try to finish all of this content, but take a little bit longer to do so, and that is totally okay. Now, in addition to the picture books that we will be exploring, there are a couple of consumable, like things like sticker books and activity books, but there are also these two resources that will be called out. Global art, which are just different activities, projects, and art pieces inspired by areas around the world. And then we also have this book here called Cooking Class Global Feast. So we will be doing a little bit of kitchen exploration as well, which is pretty exciting. The next piece of curriculum that we're using is from Core Knowledge. We are going to use their kindergarten history and geography units. I actually have all 4 of them here at home about the student books. But this curriculum is free. You do not need to buy these. I simply bought them because I didn't have a way for my child to look at the content. We don't have an easy way for us to do that while I also have the teacher guide up. Anyway, that's a me problem. But we have these 4 units, which is meant to last 36 weeks. So the topics we will be covering are Let's Explore Our World. We have Native Americans, the Mount Rushmore Presidents, and exploring and moving to America. So you can see we get a little bit of those history portions. We have a little bit of geography, and yeah, it's like a nice gentle mix. So this will be 36 weeks. In my original video, I talked about Bookshark Reading with History Level A, and we have purchased this. We have this in our hands, and my original idea here is we were going to go through the history component of that in our kindergarten year. But truth to tell, I purchased way too much curriculum, and when I was starting to schedule it, I was kind of overwhelmed by just how many resources we had. So I made the decision that we are not doing Bookshark history component this year. We still own it, we are still going to use it, but I wanted to use first and foremost Core Knowledge and Build Your Library. However, there are two components that came with that program that we are going to pull in this year to help supplement what we are going on or what we are currently doing. And the first here is this markable map. It has a world map on one side and the United States on the other. And we will use this to supplement with our map skills and the things that we are doing in Build Your Library and Core Knowledge. The other thing that it came with is this really lovely timeline book. And we are going to start adding pictures. We'll just print out things from the internet of the people that we talk about. So example, those Mount Rushmore presidents, they will start living on here. We talk a little bit about Native Americans and exploring America. We will go ahead and put some of those important events on this timeline book. And we are going to start this timeline book using the Build Your Library and Core Knowledge. So I wanted this to be not just tied to Bookshark, so we are going to be using that. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is social justice. So I had flagged that we were going to subscribe to the Little Justice Leaders subscription box, and it looks amazing, but they're no longer doing the subscription box. They have completely changed their model, and I honestly have just not had the time to figure out if the new model would fit us and what the story is there. So I decided before signing up for that, I wanted to use some of the resources that we have here at home. So I bought this from Costco a while ago. This is called Little People, Big Dreams, Trailblazing Leaders. And this is a treasury that has 5 stories that will talk about some amazing people here in history. And then there's a guided journal. We're not going to do the guided journal. My kindergartner's not ready for it, but I am going to read about these 5 individuals. And I will be looking a little bit more into content to pull in to specifically talk about them, but we will talk about them and we will be putting them on our timeline as well and starting to learn a little bit about a couple of key people in history. Now let's go ahead and get into our supplemental resources. So the first thing that we were going to be pulling in are 2 books. We are going to be reading books 4 and 5 from the Magic Tree House. One's about pirates and one is about ninjas. And my library has the nonfiction companion books. But my kids are so obsessed right now with pirates and ninjas, and I'm not really sure. Well, we read Treasure Island, so that's probably why for the pirates, but I have no idea where the ninjas thing came from. But we are going to go ahead and try pulling these in and just focus on 2 of these Magic Tree House books, which my kids really do love. We've read the first 3 and the nonfiction books that correspond with them, and they love those books. Those are so much fun. At this age. Now it is election year here in the United States, so I decided that we are going to read a couple of books specifically tied to elections. I didn't grab them with me right now, but I did buy a few from Book Outlet, so those will be pulled in. And I also have these cards here. These are the US presidents. I wanted us to start recognizing some, visually, some of the presidents. So we're going to start with our 2 candidates here, so Biden and Trump. We are also going to go over the Mount Rushmore presidents, for example. And then a couple of other people we will be pulling in as well. And we'll just kind of make our way in no specific order, but I would say order, it's kind of reflective of the order that we are kind of talking about people. And then we will add them to the timeline and we will start kind of getting to know these presidents and playing some games with these cards. So that will be nice. Now there's also a song on Spotify, which I'll link in the description, where they're singing through all of the presidents. We have listened to that a few times. My kids really, they sit there and they listen and they hum along, so we will probably listen to that one as well. Now speaking of music, I was able to find my old CD from Schoolhouse Rock, America Rock, so I just wanted to flag we will be listening to this as well. They really, really like this CD. And they have already started to get to know the preamble. They sing along with the preamble. I'm this is amazing. So we will continue listening to it. All right, speaking of songs as well, I'm on the hunt for some music that will help us learn our state capitals and countries around the world. So if you have any recommendations, list them down below. I did find a CD called Brain Beats. I'll again link it here in the description. They do have a number of things that we can kind of leverage that are related to history and social studies. And we will probably pull some of those in. But if you have any recommendations, please let me know. And the last resource I want to flag here is a game. It's called Guess in 10. This is a dual pack. It has animals and countries around the world. And specifically for social studies, we will be pulling in some of these cards and doing some of these guess in 10 games. And basically what I'm going to do is pull out the cards of the countries that we are talking about in Build Your Library and Core Knowledge. And then we are going to be playing this game with those. So as the year goes on, our deck will get bigger and bigger and bigger. So that is pretty exciting. But that is it, you guys. That is going to be our social studies for our kindergarten. I'm really excited. Comment down below, let me know what you think and what you are doing for your social studies. I'm really excited to hear about it, and I will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.